2007 Volvo V50 oil change. I know these ones are pretty old, but still, for some people, might be their brand new vehicle. So that right there is gonna be the oil filter housing. On these vehicles, I use this cartridge steel oil filter. It is very important to change the filter first because it's up on top of the engine, and then drain the oil afterwards. So O-ring comes with the filter. This one has to be changed every time as well, otherwise there is a high potential of developing engine oil leak from the housing. So let's go ahead and start with that. That's going to be a 36 millimeter socket, usually drop down in there with extension, like a 12-inch extension. And I also like to use like a swivel socket on it to make my life a lot easier. So this one right here would be my setup, and let's get to it. Oops. Let me change a little bit of my setup here. So a couple other two little steps that I had to do was I had to remove this filter housing by removing this 10 millimeter bolt here, loosen that up, then wiggle and pull, remove this air duct, intake air duct housing, and so this junction, just wiggle and pull, get it out of the way. Then usually what I do is I stuck like a rag in there or something so I don't drop any unwanted stuff in there. That would be like really not fun. And then that's gonna be my filter housing. So filter comes out of there, so let's go ahead and change the filter and put the housing back on so we can drain the oil. In this case, this is how my filter came apart from the filter cap, so there's nothing to be concerned because the new filter, it's a little bit different. It's hollow, so nothing too crazy. This one's like this. All that happened is that this piece here just got stuck onto the older filter, and it just goes stuck onto the cap, which means all you gotta do is remove it and put it back in there. That's it. So here is the O-ring that you have to replace. Just wiggle it out of there and change it with the new one. Once the new O-ring and the filter have been properly placed in there, you can hear a little bit of snap going into the filter housing, which that means they're good to go. All you gotta do is put a little bit of a oil coating onto that O-ring. It's light, you don't have to overkill it, and so a little bit on that one. There will be another one on the other side of the filter where it snaps in, and you're ready to go back in. Let's see if I can get it to go back in with one hand. Bear with me. And I'll go a little bit of an angle, and we're good. Usually I try to do like a hand tight as much as I can. Let's see, that didn't look straight. Much better. See, I was able to run most of the threads in one go this time. So let's go ahead and get them nice and tight. These ones are set to, usually says right there on the cap, not a whole lot of torque, like 25.5 newton meters. That's what the torque is at. So okay, let's finish this up and go down to the bottom. Then you will use a 19mm socket to get onto the oil drain plug. Then usually what I do, I just crack it loose where I can get it moving with my hand, get my oil drain pen ready, and be mindful if you're doing this after you just stop driving. Oil might be nice and hot, so try to stay away from it. Just let it drain until it stops draining. Put your drain plug back on it, fill it up with oil. Well, hold on, let's back up and rewind. Here is the drain plug that it came with out of it. I know I said to hold on and back up and rewind, and the main deal, it is gonna be this here. This is an aluminum seal, gasket, whatever you want to call it. You're meant to replace it every time. You don't absolutely have to. However, you should check it every time, because if this thing is being squashed too much, if it's being compressed too much, it will allow an oil leak, and then your drain plug is gonna be leaking oil here. So if you have that problem, all you gotta do is, well, you could replace the drain plug, which a lot of the times is not necessary, but you have to replace this oil seal, aluminum seal. Sometimes you can find them out of copper also. So these are just like a big washer that goes on there. This one is good, so I can reuse it and I'm not gonna have any issues. You will see, however, if it's worn down grooves where you can try to get your fingernail there and it'll catch. That means it's no good. See this one? I got no catch on either side. So this seal is good to go. Let's put it back on it since it stopped draining, and let's go from there. So getting almost done. Last thing that we got left is fill it up with oil. This thing takes 6 quarts of oil, and let's get to it. And number 6. Now we got left is check the oil level, then we should be good to go. Let it run for 15-20 seconds. Shut it off, and then let's go check the oil level. Do the first wipe. Make sure that you start with a clean dipstick. So here we go. Woohoo! See, we are right there, right on those hatch marks, and we're all done. Good for depending on your driving and the type of oil you're using. Another 3,000 for regular oil, 5,000 for the synthetic, or 3 months for regular oil, 6 months or up to a year for the synthetic, depending on how much you're driving, whichever comes first. Then see you next time.